Well, hello. Welcome everyone to our second group call of Launch Academy. So great to have you here. This marks the start of our second module as well. It's so great to see all your faces here. I'm just going to shift the video for a second just so we can see everybody. So welcome, welcome. So excited that you're all here and seeing the fruits of your work and seeing all your great vision statements coming in. So thank you for being engaged so beautifully in the course. So great to have you today. So as we start moving into these deeper into the course and on these calls, more and more I'm going to be creating more and more space for Q&A, for some laser coaching, some help. So certainly today I will just do some housekeeping, a little light review of where we've been. And then opening the space to share out vision statements, to get any support you may need, so that we can flip the classroom as we say, right? So that most of the teachings on the course website and then the Q&A and the support for you guys is all here in the call. So what I'd like to do is first is to do just some quick introductions. Remember in our first call, we did somebody exit full screen? Hey, Deborah, I'm going to stop you because you just went and shared the screen. So
okay,
that's all right. I'm just going to stop you here if I can do that. And everybody went to share. Okay, so you want to, yeah. Okay, and now I've got to stop my screen to do that. Okay, great. So be careful. Don't hit the share screen, folks. Don't even play with it because it'll actually create the share screen on there. All right, so what I'd like to do is there's a few people that were not on the first call. And so what I'd like, if you were not on the first call, I see a few of you, is to just simply just share where you live and then what's your teaching topic. So it's really just a 30-second check-in, where you live, what's the teaching arena or topic, not too much in depth, just the general area, and then we can all honor you. And one of the things that we do is, is from sign language, all of us are muted instead of coming off mute, that we do this. This is sign language for clapping, or I hear you, honor you. So we'll be doing that. So I think we'll start with Rosaline. We'd love you to share us where you live and what's your teaching area.
Okay, I live in Spain. I live in a beautiful island. It's called Ibiza. It's in the Mediterranean Sea.
Yes.
And I'm an artist. I'm a visual artist, but I'm also a creativity coach and an art therapist. And my purpose is to develop an online course for helping everyone to develop their creativity in an art-based way. That's what I'm doing.
Beautiful. Welcome. So we're going to honor you. Welcome, Rosaline. So great to have you in the course. I love that.
Yes.
I love that part of the world you live in. So wonderful. So also, if some people have just rolled on like you, Gabe, please mute yourself with the microphone. Anybody else too that's not muted, go ahead and mute. I'm going to mute you, Gabe, if you can't find it. So I've just muted you. All right. And then let's see, we have Deborah. And is it Deborah and Janet? Hello, you come off mute, just unmute yourself, and then we'll have you share where you live and what your teaching area is.
Hi guys, my name is Deborah Pilgrim, and I live in Brooklyn, New York, and this is my buddy and partner, Janet Lavelle, and she's actually the one who's doing the course. I'm just here to support her. So here we go, Janet, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Janet Lavelle. I live in New York City. I am also a pastor of a church in Brooklyn. And my area is really healing, emotional healing and physical healing. And I am so thankful, very, very thankful to be here. This is something that I've been waiting on for so long. So again, thank you for bringing this course.
Oh, thank you, Deborah and Janet. Beautiful. Welcome. So great that you made it on this call. Yay. Wonderful. Sweet. Beautiful. And then anybody else that was not on the first call, just kind of raise your hand. I'm looking at the whole screen here that didn't get a chance to check in our first call. Just looking.
Hi, this is Laura.
Oh, hi, Laura.
How are you? I'm trying to get into the screen side of it. I'm only able to get into the audio at the moment, so I'm working on this. That's why you can't see me at the moment. But I'm Laura Stone from Boston. My focus is around purpose, both for individuals and teams, and background in really strategic alignment. And really excited to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Laura. Great to have you. You can't see us, but we're all clapping for you with our hands up. Sign language of clapping. So great that you're here. And hopefully you can jump on, click the link, and get onto the video if you can. And no worries if you can't.
And hi, Chris. This is Kimberly Joe Buckingham.
Yeah, Kimberly. Hello. Hi.
Hi. Thank you. I live in Cannon Beach, Oregon, which is on the north coast of Oregon. And I have written a book, which will come out in the fall. And my course is Smart is the New Perfect. And it's about women and overcoming perfection. I've developed a methodology with SMART in many areas of our life.
Great. Welcome, Kimberly. Great to have you. So excited you're in the
Nice to meet everyone. I'm looking forward to this.
Yay. Awesome. And anyone else that was not on the first call that we could just hear a quick check-in? Tricia. Oh, there's Laura. Hello, Laura. Wonderful. I think everything. Michelle was here. Tricia, you were here first call too, right? Yep. Awesome. Okay. Wonderful, folks. Well, great to have you all here. A nice full house. What is that? I am counting five across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 25 folks here on the call. Awesome. Wonderful. So what I'm going to do is just a quick, as I do with each call, is just a quick housekeeping and logistics before we dive in. So those aren't, kind of shoved in at the very end of the session today. So I'm just going to go over to my notes here. And so a couple quick housekeeping logistics. So if you didn't already notice, you got an email about it, but Module 2 materials are all up on the course site, except for the tutorial video for this module, which is about your avatar interviews. So all those materials are up. You can watch the video. You can check out the documents. It's a pretty simple document, simple in terms of just a couple of documents for this module. So that's all there for you to check out. And don't forget that if you make sure that you download and either print out or whatever the 2 documents, the course development framework document and your avatar interview script. So those are there, and especially that course development framework document, you want to make sure that you have that handy, because that's really going to be what we're covering in this module and the next module. So 2 and 3 is really that document. So there's that, as you saw from the email sent out to you, that you now have an accountability buddy. And thank you. Some of you have emailed in about, challenges and stuff you have, or, starting the course late, or, not able to work with a buddy. So that's fine. If any more questions came in by email, I haven't checked in the last couple hours, but just let us know if there's any challenges around getting connected to your buddy, or not able to be in an accountability buddy partnership. So that email kind of gave you the flow. Well, I won't repeat that, but when we go into Q&A, when there's just open space, if you have any questions about the process with just working with an accountability buddy, just let me know, and we'll talk about that. Pretty self-explanatory. Just meet, talk, support each other, hold each other accountable, and keep it quick so that it doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, we're going to be on an hour-and-a-half call. Unless you want that. That's possible too. All right, so that's that. Accountability buddies are set. And then just reminding you as I know we're all just getting into the course. There's a lot to take in. There's, the pre-course questionnaire, some of the homework you already started. But just as we go into the course, just think about using the Facebook page if you want to share ideas or success story you've had throughout the course, or you want input. Let's kind of keep that. I know that'll heat up as we move deeper into the course, and especially by the end of the course. But just feel free to use the Facebook page to get feedback from the whole group. I'll try to, I try to monitor it every day, at least once a day, not on it all the time, but so just I'll try to give my feedback, but it's really meant for you folks to connect with each other. It's really not meant for me to teach from there or, give you per se advice, because we have other ways to do that through email and all that. So that's the Facebook page. And I think that is it for basic housekeeping. If you haven't yet put all the dates of the calls on your calendar, please do that. And of course, please mark off August 4th and 5th for our Launch Now retreat. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be here in beautiful Marin County, California, just north of San Francisco. So we're going to have a great time there. So make sure you get that on your calendar. We'll also be sending out probably next week a doodle poll just to see how many people are coming, right? So we want to actually see who can make it. It'll be like a yes, no, maybe kind of poll. All right. So before we dive into sort of content, is there any just logistical questions, folks? You know, course website, buddies, just logistics. I love just seeing all your faces. This is great. It's so fun. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so I am going to do I'm going to prime the pump a little bit by doing a quick review of Module 1, just very quick, like just a couple of minutes, and then open the space for us to talk about the vision statements. Have some of you share your vision statement if you'd like. If you'd like a little coaching support, we can dive into that as well. So Module 1 was all about what I call building the foundation. Like when I started thinking about creating this course and working with my clients in the same field, I realized it was really important to build that why. You know, why are we doing what we're doing? So that's the reason for having you create your vision statements. It's just your statement of your passionate why. That this is what I see the world can be. Here's what I'm doing about it. And this is essentially what I'm excited about. So that's your why, and then the course, the curriculum roadmap is just your vision or your perspective of what's possible beyond even just this first course. Again, nobody's holding you to that. It's just your willingness to look at, what might be next? What might be next after this? Because I know that people that come, out of the program, have come out of Launch Academy and launched their first course, they've really found that there's an excitement then to say, well, okay, what's next? And so I like to get people thinking about that, not at the end of the course, but at the beginning. And it's actually a very practical thing, because if you see 2 steps, an intro course experience and then a much longer experience, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, or a year, that can be an online course, that you're already starting to think about that as you go into the launch of your first course. You may even start planning it, prepping it, using what you learn here in Launch Academy to have that ready fairly short order after your first intro course. So that's kind of why we have you think about that now. Then I also introduced you to the master dashboard, kind of this gem document that I've created and crafted over the years that I use personally myself, and I love it, and it puts everything in one place for me to manage, like a dashboard managing my course launch. And of course, introducing that now as sort of part of your roadmap, but clearly there's lots of tabs and things in there that we're going to talk about over the coming months. So really, and the focus, as you could tell by the submission of your vision statement into the course website, are the vision statements. And so what I'd like to do is sort of open the floor to whoever would like to share their vision statement. If you want some feedback on it, great. If you just want to share it, that's fine too. I've been working through all yours. We've been still enrolling people last week and kind of getting everything set to have everybody in the course. So I've given feedback to some of you, but there's still quite a few more that have come through over the last 3 or 4 days that I will get to give you feedback there. So that's another place I can give some feedback here as well. And you can also get feedback from the group. So that's our Module 1. And let's now turn it over to you. Who first would like to just share their vision statement, if you have it handy? Let's start with that.
I'll share mine.
Yeah, great. Shalva.
All right. Okay, so it is. We envision a world where women are activating and leading sacred circles in every country on earth, reigniting the ancient wisdom and power of the feminine. When women connect with other women in a sacred and authentic way, magic happens. It ignites a power that transforms individuals, heals relationships, inspires passion, and gives meaning to all of life.
Beautiful. Wow. So we're going to, let's give her A hands up. That's delicious. I love it. So here's what I like is, let's hear it again, because there's a power in the second. Yeah, no, there's a power to it for you and for us to take it in. And
All
then,
right.
and now let it sink a little bit lower in your body as you say it, and let it come from that place.
All right. So we envision a world where women are activating and leading sacred circles in every country on earth, reigniting the ancient wisdom and power of the feminine. When women connect with other women in a sacred and authentic way, magic happens. It ignites a power that transforms individuals, heals relationships, inspires passion, and gives meaning to all of life.
Cool. Very cool. So how does that land for you, Shalva, as you read it and you read it out loud and you share it with us? How does it land in you? What are you noticing?
I feel like it's power. It activates my own desire, and it's like, wow, yeah, that's really possible. You know, that's it. It stirred up this as I was writing it the other day, and it stirred up this, like, wow, like this could really transform lives and transform women everywhere, you know, and that's really, it's something that just turns me on and lights me up. You know?
Beautifully said. I love that you said it's activated something in you. It lights something up in you. I know it's inside of you, and I'm sure you feel it, but putting these words to it, you're sharing now with us in a way that I feel your activation. I feel your aliveness in it. So Thank you. That's beautiful. Wonderful. And I'll give you, I saw yours. I haven't yet given yours feedback on that, but it sounds pretty juicy to me. Great. Thank you, Shalva.
Yeah.
Who else would like to share?
We'd like to, but Bobby and I did this as our joint project.
Great. Yeah.
I give her sort of pride of authorship. She sort of sculpted the thing, and then we fashioned it together. So
great. Awesome. Yes. All right. Who would like to read it? Bobby, you're going to read it, Bobby?
We envision a gentler, more intelligent world filled with uniquely kind, bright, and responsibly effective children, focused on joyfully reaching for the dreams of their souls as a result of being clearly guided by parents and teachers who've learned to consistently merge love with appropriately wise guidance and boundaries on a moment-to-moment basis. As children evolve into adulthood, we're in awe of their ability to easily apply what they've learned in a way that influences those around them to also feel moved towards the power and clarity of kindness in all that they do.
Beautiful. So let's give you some honoring first. Wow. A lot of beautiful language in there. Wonderful. So as you guys share it, what do you notice that's comes up in you or between the two of you around sharing this?
Well, for me, it really it has a picture of how I would like to have things end in what we do. We feel we have a really unique way of doing this. I don't know that we have the uniqueness comes out, but the end result really is to have multi-generational, starting with the parents learning, teaching their children, and having the children go out in the world in a way that really facilitates themselves and the world through just constant kindness and ability to interact with the thinking of others. It's a mouthful, and I think we need to, just hearing it, we need to pare it down some.
Yeah, thank you. Are you open to feedback? Quick feedback on it? Yeah, I love it. It is too long. Like even as I'm listening, as you got to that third piece of it, I wasn't taking it in. You know what I mean? Like the words had kind of saturated me. So yeah, if you can condense it, not lose the power of it, but just bring the words down, trust that certain words or phrases are enough instead of a description or a deeper dive of it, because it's your vision statement. You know what's behind or below certain words or phrases. So that's what you can just kind of say to yourself, gosh, if we say that, we know that it means this, this, and this. So it's a way of compressing it.
Good.
Yeah,
I have
great.
a question on it.
Sure.
This is, we like what you're doing, showing the outcome.
Yeah.
And what I want to know is, because what we do is we teach parents and teachers, we teach everybody working with children to actually have their own evolution by teaching them how to be loving in every moment, no matter what the child's doing.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's the really unique part of this. And I don't know if that comes through, because that's really where the power of the program is. Because then they have their own evolution, because they learn how to do that.
Yeah, that's a great part. Read the first part to me again, then, just just so I can connect to what you're saying there.
We envision a gentler, more intelligent world filled with uniquely kind, bright, and responsibly effective children focused on joyfully reaching for the dreams of their souls as a result of being clearly guided by parents and teachers who've learned to consistently merge love with appropriately wise guidance and boundaries on a moment-to-moment basis.
Great. And my question is that all one sentence, or did I miss it? Yeah, see that's really, just, try to figure out how to chunk that down into like maybe 2 powerful sentences. But I get what you're saying is part of your work is the outcome is these healthy, beautiful children, but your work is with the parents and teachers, right? So you are starting with the children, but I think at some level, try to shorten that first sentence to really point toward the children quickly, that the healthy, alive, beautiful children that are parented well or that are guided well, maybe it's something guided well, so that in that first sentence, you're pointing toward the parents more quickly. Does that make sense? Or parents or teachers?
That does make sense, and I agree with that. The question I have is that we're saying that's what you see in the children, but it's also the parents' evolution that you don't see here, that I'm realizing as well.
Yeah. Right. And that's a big part of your teaching, right? Yeah. So this is how I would do is if you could simplify it again to that one sentence that is the vision of these beautiful, healthy, alive children. That's kind of the world, right? That's the vision of the world that you see, guided well by the adults, however you say that. Then the next thing needs to be when we, and I guess the we, and you might have to describe that, when we as guides, parents, teachers, and all that do our own evolutionary work, then we create the safe space. Do you see what I'm saying? That almost has to be that first sentence. When we do that, the outcome is a healthier world for everyone, particularly these children, right? So, yeah.
Okay, good.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great. I love everything you said. It's just really, bringing it down to where it can land. Cool. Thank you. Who else would like to share? Katie.
I don't know. After Shalve, I'm putting my head on the chopping block here. At Primal Movement Works, we envision a world full of people moving confidently, playfully, and efficiently, empowering themselves and their communities. We see people taking ownership of their movement, reconnecting to how they moved as children, living with less stress and conflict, supporting a healthy world community.
Nice. Well, let's give you an honor, and I'm going to have you read it again so that you can kind of take it in a little deeper into your own body. So say it one more time.
I'm just modifying here because I blew it on one of the words. At Primal Movement Works, we envision a world full of people moving confidently, playfully, and efficiently, empowering themselves and their communities. We see people taking ownership of their movement, reconnecting to how they moved as children, living with less stress and conflict, supporting a healthy world community.
Yeah, thank you. Good. I know I gave you some feedback on it, and I like what you've woven into it. Good. So how does it land for you? And it can be both. It feels great, or there's this piece that doesn't fit for me. So how is it landing in you?
There's too many movement words. First off.
Right.
I like it because we've done lots and lots of brand work and trying to draw out the important components and words and elements of what we're doing for advertising purposes. But this almost feels like it takes the lens way back and gives it a much broader, more important view, I think.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that, it really should be that big vision, right? What's possible 20 years, 30 years, 50 years from now when people are doing more of what you're teaching, right? So that's kind of always the lens, is not to think just this year or next year, but if they're doing all of this world could be, people are more engaged and in their body and connected, de-stressed, all that. So, and
it's interesting when I read it to my partners, they kind of went, oh. because they're still down in the minutia part. They didn't hear what you had to say about the next 10 or 20 or 30 years. And I think that's an important piece to hold on to when you're crafting.
Yeah, absolutely. Because from this, I mean, I haven't gone into the typical corporate thing, which is where you can create a mission statement. You can have then your actions, and you can have your branding. You know, you guys can do all that, but the vision statement is that kind of big lens, you know, the broad perspective of what's possible. And it really should feel inspiring to you. It should feel inspiring to them, and have them help you craft it too, so that they have a part in it. And the key thing is it feels alive, that there's a passion behind it, and that it's what's possible further down the line. So it sounds great. Yeah, Katie. And go ahead and resubmit that to the site if you haven't already. Great. So wonderful. Cool. Thanks. Woo. All right. And then let's see. Yes, we've got a couple questions here. So Elida, would you like to share?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're a little.
Okay.
You're
I
breaking
envision
up.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
I envision a world of masterful beings delving deeply into the magic of life. When we open the doors to our co-creative genius, access compassionate helping spirits, and recognize the sovereignty of all living beings, we accelerate the shift to a vibrant, sustainable future that nourishes all.
Beautiful. Let's honor you first. I love that. I love the language in that. So tell me again how that lands for you. What really strikes you? What do you notice about you sharing it?
What really lands for me is the emphasis on working with spiritual wisdom and collaborating with others.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so strongly that we have enough resources on our planet for everyone, and it's about collaborating together to create the nourishment for all of them.
Great. Beautiful. I love that. And you also mentioned the words just right there, spiritual wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear that make it into your vision statement. Was that?
No, I had compassionate helping spirits instead. And it might be more accessible to everyone if I use spiritual wisdom.
It might. Just play with that. I want it to be fully authentic to you, because this vision statement is sort of your voice. But I think there's also, you're looking out at the potential students. How are you meeting them? And spiritual wisdom might land better for them. So just play with both. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's just hear it one more time. I like just to have it in the space. Yeah.
Okay. I envision a world of masterful beings delving deeply into the magic of life. When we open the doors to our co-creative genius, access compassionate helping spirits, and recognize the sovereignty of all living beings, we accelerate the shift to a vibrant, sustainable future that nourishes all.
Beautiful. I especially love that last line. Yeah, that's really just beautiful and nails it. Great. Thank you. Thank you again, Elida. Beautiful. And then I know we've got before we move on, so we've got a question. So am I saying it right, Rosaline, or is it Rosaline?
It's Rosaline. Rosaline. Yeah.
Rosaline. Okay, Rosaline, you have a question.
And so there are many ways to say my name. Spanish, French, whatever.
Great.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Because happened that before starting this course, I started to have the help of a marketing mentor, because marketing is really not a subject I know much about. So I had her read my vision statement, and she immediately went into, she was seeing it more like what she calls an elevator pitch. And so she was telling me, yeah, but you need to talk about the pain of your potential clients, or the problem of your potential clients, and what is the cure or the solution you come in. So because me reading from your text, I was just going for my beautiful, positive outlook of, the perfect world I could create. But she brought me back down to earth. So I just wanted to have your feedback on that. these are two different things.
Yes, right.
Or because I could feel that she was not really getting where we're at. So maybe you can, and it's kind of linking to what you're going to go in, I guess, with the avatars.
Yes,
because
right.
this is more, what is the language we're going to use for our avatars? So maybe you can clarify me a little bit the difference between.
That's a great question. I'm so glad you brought that up. It's a great question and great for everybody to hear here as well. So thank you for that. Yes, two separate things. So anybody that's a marketing coach for you, that's not in the context of this whole course would be like, what's that? There's no marketing language in that. Yeah, the vision statement is truly as I would hold it for any individual being or organization that says, this is what I'm about. Unapologetically, it has nothing to do with marketing, zero to do with marketing. So for me, as I said before, this is your why. Like I'm a transformational teacher like all of you. So I don't want to just dive right into marketing. I want to hear what lights your soul up, right? So this is best. And if you could keep refining it for all of you that are kind of like, I'm not quite sure, it's not there, keep refining this until it feels like it lights you up. So this is the thing that's separate from marketing. It'd be the vision statement of an organization or a corporation, right? Doesn't have anything to do with marketing. And then the pieces after that become, now how do I translate that vision, my idea for my teaching, now into marketing language that people can understand? So you're absolutely right on, starting in this module and next module, that we will be getting into the marketing language by starting with your avatar first. And my model is even a little more refined than her. The old school is just problem, solution, problem, solution. The new school is aspiration. What do they aspire to? What are the problems that get in the way? Then what's the diagnosis of that problem? Why is that happening from you as an expert? And then the solution is my course, and then the promise that I make to you. So my messaging, if you want to bring that to her, is even more refined from my experience over the years than what I consider very old school is problem, solution. Problem, solution. That's old school marketing. So we will get into that, and that's where we're going in module 2 and 3, Rosaline.
Hi, Chris. Do you have time for one more?
Yeah, sure. Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. Also, did you get Janet's vision statement? Did you get a chance?
I didn't get a chance. I don't know if it came today or yesterday, the last couple of days. So sorry, I'm still working through all of them. But go ahead and share it if you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is mine. I envisioned an instinctive thirst in human consciousness to respect and utilize without hesitation vibrational medicine and spiritual healing to heal the body, mind, and emotions. As a result, globally transforming traditional medicine and the well-being of humanity. My work teaches the power of integrity, forgiveness, maintaining peace, and the interconnectedness between health and negative emotions, receiving emotional and physical well-being. This power, this wonderful power, empowers the soul to govern the human heart, eradicating sickness, thereby creating world harmony, one soul at a time. You can step right in.
Beautiful. Wow. Well, we're going to honor such beautiful passion in that. Wonderful. Excellent. So first I'll ask that question. How does it land for you in terms of what you shared? And what are you noticing as you share it with all of us?
Well, I truly believe that as we move forward into the future, and begin to teach about the governing of the soul within the human spirit, especially the mind and emotion, we will see a real change coming forward because at that time, kindness and love will govern. And when kindness and love govern, there'll be less sickness, there'll be less violence, there'll be less of these things in the world. So this is something that I truly, truly believe in when I speak of soul power.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. And are you open to a little feedback on it?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think what might be good here is to think about how do you bring all of what you shared down into a vision statement that somebody that you're talking with can just sort of absorb, like a few handful of sentences. And then here's what I invite for you is not lose the rest of it. Just say, here is the essence of what I'm saying, this idea of love and kindness, that we build that as a global community of beings. And then keep that short. And then you'd have the rest of it is like the beautiful support underneath that. Because it was a little hard. There's a point where a vision statement, it was a little hard to stay with everything you were saying. There's a lot of words there.
Okay.
Yeah. So just play it. Because the thing with the vision statement is, and you guys, it's not necessarily that you have to use on your website or use anywhere. You could use it and choose to use it anywhere you want. But generally, it is meant to be that powerful statement that somebody can read in about 15 seconds to 30 seconds and then really take it in. So that's the key of the vision statement. And then the rest can be supportive, almost like read more here about what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Great. Beautifully. Well done. Well done, you two. And I'll give feedback on the course site if you posted it there too.
Can I do one?
Yeah. Who is that?
Trisha.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me see if I can find it. I just rewrote the beginning because I thought it was totally boring. Half word. And so I was inspired. So now it reads, to unleash the joy of the soul and celebrate the individual as she struggles, overcomes, and discovers that they are the hero in their own journey in designing a life of joy. To create and foster a community of support, fun, discovery, and awareness to take the next step and the next.
Nice. Beautiful. So, and I'm going to have you say that one more time because I know you're beautiful. Well done. And also, Trisha, you probably haven't yet been on the course site, but I gave you some feedback on yours too already.
Okay.
But read it one more time. Let's have us kind of take it.
Unleash the joy of the soul and celebrate the individual as she struggles, overcomes, and discovers that they are the hero in their own journey in designing a life of joy. To create and foster a community of support, fun, discovery, and awareness to take the next step and the next.
Great. And so do you mind if are you open to a little feedback?
Sure.
Because I actually put the feedback in the document for you, and you could go and check this out, but this will be a little bit of real-time coaching so people can see some of how I'm phrasing it. So first thing, I love a lot of the words in it, but it would be helpful to, instead of just starting with two, just simply borrow what we've been using, which is that I envision or I see a world of. Okay. And so one of the things that I just took a crack at hearing your words. So you got to put in your own words. But what I was hearing is, I envision a world in which everyone is celebrated and fully supported as they move through all their struggles and triumphs in their lives. So that's kind of the hero's journey approach, right? That kind of piece. And then and you can add to that. I just wanted to kind of give you that first structure instead of it being like a mission statement of to inspire support, that you start with, I envision the world that this is possible, that everyone is celebrated and fully supported, whether they're in their struggles or their triumphs. And then the other piece that and again, this just is my thoughts and you filter it through however you want to write it. But then that second part, when you start getting into what more of your teaching, it's sort of when we create and foster a community of support, fun, discovery, and awareness, we're able to inspire, encourage all heroes on their own journey to transform, grow, and take that next step and the next.
I like that.
Yeah. So, and the key thing here, which is I love the stuff that you've got in there. It's just the first part should really try to paint that picture of what's possible. And there's something about celebrating this and honoring the struggle, right?
Right.
Like so often in our culture, we don't do that. We don't really honor the struggle, the shadow side. We're always trying to like move away from that. So there's something really powerful as somebody is going through their own hero's journey, the dark night of the soul, or whatever that is for them, that we can celebrate and honor that as well as the triumphs.
And I think the passion comes from the whole unleashing the joy of the soul. I think there's passion in that.
That's good.
So
write that down right now. There's
lacking in passion.
Yeah. So passion, unleashing the joy of the soul. You just said that. Just write that down so you don't lose that,
Right.
because that may make it in your your revision here.
Right. Thank
But
you.
did those two pieces land, just my reworking of your?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And that's in my notes are in the email to you. Cool. Thank you, Tricia. Beautiful. Well done. Well done. Great. All right. Anybody? I think somebody else.
I'd like to go if I could, Chris.
Yes, please. Who was that?
Sabia.
Oh, Sabia. Yes, I was just going to call on you because I saw your note here. Yes.
Great. Okay, so mine goes like this. I envision a world where connection to self, to body, to nature, to spirit, and to each other is deeply valued and held as a priority. When we fully accept and deeply nourish ourselves, then we have the capacity to dive into interconnectedness, bringing joy, purpose, and passion to our lives.
Woo! That was good. I love it. Oh, let's give you some feedback. Oh, these claps. Thank you for integrating some of my feedback. So why don't you say it one more time, and then I'll ask you again how that's landing for you.
Okay. I envision a world where connection to self, to body, to nature, to spirit, and to each other is deeply valued and held as a priority. When we fully accept and deeply nourish ourselves, then we have the capacity to dive into interconnectedness, bringing joy, purpose, and passion to our lives.
Beautiful. I love that. Just really clear. Yeah, nice. Just quickly give us your teaching area so people can hear the link, and then how does it land for you?
Yeah, okay. Well, actually, that's a good segue into my question, actually. So I bring my training as a nutritionist and a life coach, and the food coach, into 6 paths to nourishment: food, movement, rest, mind, emotion, soul. And a lot of my my clients are my people want to lose weight, but they want to do it in a deeply transformative way. So that's really where it often lands from. It could be also that somebody has a disconnect from their body or their relationship with food. So that's usually where people come in.
Got it. Yeah.
And I guess that actually leads to my question, which is, it's interesting to me, this community. It seems like you've created your vision and you've drawn all these amazing people who have very similar visions and yet coming at it, no doubt, from their own work. And so the question is does that say enough to the individual work that we do, or is it necessary?
That's a great question. Yeah, you can refine it. One of the refinements for all of you folks is in that second or maybe even a third sentence. Some people already wove this in, is that you could even say, so the teaching that I do is boom, boom, boom. So you could always add that in. The vision statement is still intended to be something that lights you up, right? That really just fires you up, that's clear. Your model needs to be in it. And I assume it is. Like when you said the 6th level, is that the connected to body, connected to nature? Is that part of what you teach in your model?
Yes.
See, that's great, right?
Yeah.
That first part, kind of connection to self, connection to body, connection to other, is part of your 6-point framework. Is that right? Or?
Well, yes and no. I mean, there's so many different ways that I get at the work that I'm doing with people, but I start with a model, and within that model, or I start with those 6 paths, and within those 6 paths, all of these different things interweave themselves in.
Perfect. So it's all about connection, though. It's all about interconnected.
Exactly.
Then your vision state, it's perfect. It's perfect. As long as you feel like it reflects your own passion, your own vision for what's possible, and your teaching, if it kind of hits all that, then that's great. It's perfect.
Okay, great.
Also, something I'd like to share with you guys that's pretty, you bring up something, Zabia, that I want to share with everybody, is that this is came from one of my mentors or teachers early on in my learning around creating programs, workshops, online courses, is there's a thing called stealth transformation. And if stealth transformation just means that there's generally something that might bring somebody in that's more practical. It's about their health. It's about weight loss. It's about making more money, blah, blah, blah. But then as you're a teacher working with them, saying that, yes, we're going to work on that, the stealth transformation are the other pieces that you help them look at. What are the barriers that get in the way? What are the deeper currents of learning about myself so in the money business, it would be, what's your money shadow, right? Or what are your limiting beliefs around money? A lot of times you don't want to lead with that, right? So as we start talking about the marketing message and the avatar, that's a place where it's more process oriented, and people don't want or buy process, right? They just want to trust that you've got something that's going to take them from A to B. And then what's in that is your stealth transformation. So Zabia, you have some stealth transformation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And so your vision statement in some ways is reflecting that you have a bigger vision that's just beyond, hey, I'm going to help you lose weight, right? And I think all the great teachers and messengers are using whatever our daily life brings, but helping people to drop into a place of learning and growth and transforming their lives, not just with the food, but whatever else is impeding them in living a more vibrant and healthy and, energetic life. Mm-hmm. So your vision statement to a certain degree is in a simple way unfolding that you have a bigger vision than just helping people lose weight.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
So, yeah. Well done. Great. I think we have, let's see. So, Gary, I'm just looking at my old chats here. Would like, Adam. So Adam, you just wrote, yes.
Hey there.
Hi.
So I got your feedback just as this was beginning.
Yeah, right. I know. I was feverishly trying to catch up with everybody that's come in the last few days.
But I did a little quick kind of edit.
Great.
What I'd like to, I'll read the original one to give it some context and then read what I changed.
Great. That'd be great. That would be helpful, I think. Yeah.
So I wrote, I envision a world where each person recognizes they have an innate intelligence that includes the ability to communicate the source of what's blocking their path to well-being, physical, biochemical, emotional, and or energetic. To understand that muscle testing is the voice of innate intelligence and has the ability to communicate their unique needs, identifying blockages and how to unblock them so their power of innate healing is restored and activated, and they are empowered to live each moment as if it's the best moment of their life.
Got it. So now we'll wait to give you props until you do the second one.
Long, and I recognized it as being long, but well, thank you. I recognized that was long, but struggled with, how to get everything I kind of wanted to say in.
Right.
But but you pushed me to shorten that a bit. So yes. This is what I quickly edited just in the last however long it's been.
Right.
I envision a world where everyone recognizes they have an innate intelligence that includes the ability to communicate the source of what's blocking their path to realizing their full potential. Mm-hmm. To understand that muscle testing is the voice of innate intelligence with the ability to identify blockages and indicate how to unblock them so their self-healing power is restored and activated.
Ooh, yeah. Look at the before and after. Look at you go, Adam. That was awesome. Really good. Yeah. And so tell me how you feel reading the second one as you've gone through this process? How does it land in you and your body? And
yeah, I feel like it still pretty much gets the main idea across. What's lacking is the bigger picture of, I do tend to kind of get into a lot of stuff involving, this is individual based. Mm-hmm. And so it's lacking the sort of interconnectedness of all things, larger viewpoint of where that ultimately all leads to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think your innate intelligence is the key though. So it's something about when we're all tapping that shifts the culture. So it does start individually, but you could weave that into your first thing about when we're all, so I envision a world where we're all tapping our innate intelligence to blah, 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 right? So you could just weave the language a bit that it starts individually, but there's a collective field that happens if we're all trusting that and tapping into that.
Which is how I think it is. And
then write that, shift that first
first in order to bring ourselves into that interconnectedness in our truest way and uplift the energy of the planet.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and even as I'm tapping my innate intelligence, there's a way that then I can bring that out in all my connections and relationships, right? As I'm more grounded and self-aware in that, then my choices in how I interact with others is going to be impacted. Not just through muscle testing, right? But just through that I've tapped my more deeper source of wisdom. And then I'm bringing that out. So if there's a way that you weave this idea of innate intelligence and inner wisdom that impacts everybody, that would, I think, be the connecting piece that you're looking for.
So in other words, that would be sort of the next little follow-up thing for once somebody wants to know a little more.
Say that again. You cut out just a little bit. Just say that again.
In other words, so what you're saying, expanding that into the larger picture would be the next bit that you were talking about a few minutes ago as sort of the follow-on statement.
Yeah, if you wanted to add more to it. Exactly. Or you could tweak the first statement just with a few words that point more toward that as we all tap into this, there's a possibility there. So either way, you could either weave it into your shorter vision statement, or you could add it as more content that you put below. The key thing, if you're open to it, is still that second question where you start with to understand. I think it's just my feedback there, and maybe you didn't get to it, is I would keep that as a full sentence. Like when we are doing this is that interconnected piece that you may be looking for. When we're all tapped into this, then what is possible? So that first part is a little bit to understand that the muscle testing is the path. It just didn't land for me.
To understand that muscle testing is the voice of innate intelligence. So would I phrase that in terms of like what I do, as part of what you get from the learning?
Yeah, it's a little bit woven into this is kind of the framework, and not everybody has to stay totally to this, but when we say something like when we are all doing this, that is pointing toward your teaching. So I think, let me take a look quickly at what you might have it in front of you, but where are you, Adam? So what I wrote, Adam, here is you did a great job of really bringing it down in, but then the second sentence I had is this is just my words, right? You got to just take it as face value there. Mm-hmm. When we trust the voice of innate intelligence, using your words, through muscle testing. See, I just flipped it. So this is your teaching. But now it's like you're inviting people. This is where the vision statement this is the world I see. But when we start doing this, there's a possibility. So when we trust the voice of innate intelligence through muscle testing, we now have the ability to communicate with our body and being to identify blockages, restore balance and vital energy, and to heal our body to live in each moment. That's a mouthful because I was using what you wrote there. Right. But that's now a shift where you're actually going to point to this word trust. So when we trust the voice of innate intelligence, now you're going to help people to learn how to trust more and more through muscle testing to develop this innate intelligence. So it points right to your teaching and your programs and all that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to work with that a little because the difference is it takes a little bit of the power away of what I'm saying is that muscle testing is the voice of innate intelligence.
Yeah, I see. Right. Right. Rather than through it as a thing. Right. Yeah. So can I offer this to you just because I've done muscle testing and I've, been around it. Do you think there is a thing such as innate intelligence that's beyond just muscle testing? Is muscle testing a gateway to innate intelligence?
Muscle testing is, I mean, innate intelligence is a much bigger thing.
And that's what I want you to, that's your vision. See, that's what I'm saying. You may even see that your teaching starts to move beyond just in the way you teach it. I'm not saying that you leave muscle testing, but that innate intelligence is a bigger concept than muscle testing.
Oh, yeah.
And so muscle testing is one avenue that you're an expert in, but it also allows you to talk about things. This is what you were just saying about that grander, bigger vision is you could just talk about innate intelligence. This is one of the best vehicles to it. And this is what this is what it means. This is what it can mean for our lives by tapping into it. And muscle testing is one of the best ways to tap into this innate intelligence.
Okay.
So I don't know if that lands for you. Does that land for you where I'm?
I'll work with it. Yeah.
Cool.
Concept. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Adam. So let's give Adam some props here. Woo! Yay, Adam. Great. Well done. All right. Let's see. I know a few people have written me here. I hear the sound well, so it's probably local. So Andrew, are you okay?
Yes.
Gary, and you've got Gary. Your volume okay? You wrote some stuff about keep losing sound. Are you good again?
Yeah, it was just kind of coming and going, sort of a few words out of each sentence, but seems to be okay now.
Okay. Yeah. And Gary, would you be willing to share your vision statement?
Yeah, I don't have it right in front of me. I'll have to go to the page here.
I might have it. I have it if you'd like me to read it.
Okay, hang on a second. I think I can.
Sure.
I got it here. Yeah, here it is. And, you know, I just read your suggestions here, so we haven't really reworked it. I probably put up 3 or 4 different versions of this before we landed on this one.
Yeah,
right. And I wasn't even quite happy with this one, so it's going to need some more reworking.
Great.
But this is what we have here. As we envision a world where everyone has mastery of their brain waves and lives from a fully awakened mind. Our intention is to teach people mastery of their brain waves, heart-empowered balance of mind, body, and spirit. The pattern of the awakened mind is the gateway into flow, high performance, and personal transformation.
Beautiful. Let's honor you for that. I mean, I love what you're saying here. And like you said, yeah, it needs some tweaking here and there. What lands well with you, and what might you change?
I originally was describing the brainwaves more in terms of a symphony of brainwaves. And I wanted to kind of keep that feeling that we're working with, a pattern of brainwaves, a particular ratio of when. I mean, this is like too complicated to explain, but the general idea is that the underlying symphony of the brainwaves can be trained to perform or to bring us into optimal performance and into states of flow. So, kind of reworking it with that in mind. Donna might have some other thoughts. I don't know. Do you have any thought on that?
Hi, Donna.
Hi. I just wanted to say that we're basically helping people to return to their authentic, true, natural mind and nature.
Yeah, let's just take a pause there. Did you write that piece down? That could be the start.
Yeah.
And then the next piece moves into brainwave. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the vision of a world where you guys got it. When people are doing some of the things that we teach, or when they really embody it, then that's the outcome. So that's what you want to paint that. And that's language that people can understand.
Yeah, and I think the idea too, as Donna just pointed out, is that the awakened mind really is the natural mind. It's what if we developed and grew normally, our brain would have these kinds of patterns and capabilities naturally.
Yes.
And we kind of lose that as we get older and spend too much time looking at computers and reading.
Right. If you're raised in a jungle in a true Aboriginal fashion, then you have that natural mind innately.
Yeah, innately, yes. So our culture is impinging on it, of course. And then your mastery is learning the mastery of the brainwave patterns, right?
Yes, kind of bringing you back to that natural mind again.
Yeah. And then maybe instead of just brainwaves, maybe the word symphony of brainwaves, but even just brainwave patterns has a nice flow to it instead of just the brainwaves. It's like working with the pattern. How do we work with the patterns of the different
I think we need to get a little more flow into, what we're talking about here.
Tap in that awakened mind and just drop it, and there it is, boom. So I think it's beautiful, and it's just refinement for you two. I really get what you're saying, and it's just really feeling really good about it. And a couple more iterations is probably going to get cool.
And we just want to mention also that we won't be able to join you in the next call because we'll be in Europe. We're going to be teaching a class over there, which leads right into what we're doing with the second module here, is that we'll have people there. We can ask them what their aspirations are and why they're there, and
Great.
help them, so we can take a lot of notes
on perfect avatar descriptions. And we're leaving tomorrow actually for Paris. So hopefully the airstrike won't affect our flights.
Yes. Well, safe travels. You got somebody behind you.
Rosalind is in France, and
she's actually in Ibiza in Spain.
Oh, okay, Ibiza.
Yeah.
Okay. There was someone from France here. Who was?
Gabe. I think Gabe is he's from France, I think, originally.
Okay.
I have to run myself, but thank you so much, Chris, for all your help.
You are so welcome. Safe travels, you too. And we'll see you on the call. Yes, we'll see you on the call after the next one.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Great. All right. This has been awesome. Thank you all for sharing. This is just so juicy for me, so inspiring for me. Is there anybody else that would either like actual coaching right now on their vision statement or just feels like sharing it? I'll be getting through all of the backlog. So I will be giving you online support, but if there's anybody that wants to dive in and either share or get feedback now. Did I catch everyone? Andrew, did you want to share? I see you've had a couple of posts here.
Thanks, Chris. I'll take advantage of the opportunity to do it.
Right.
Often want to hold back, so I'll just step forward and do that.
Great.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of natural allies here for what I'm interested in here in this Hollywood Squares. I see a world in which participation in a dedicated support community, those capital letters on those, dedicated support community, for personal liberation and social liberation is as common as attendance at the local gym. I see micro communities as safe places that celebrate triumphs and struggles, including those that come from deep attachment and belonging issues. So, that's it. Some
Beautiful.
of that from.
We're going to honor you. We're going to honor you first. Beautiful. Well said. Beautiful.
Thank you.
I get the passion coming through. So yeah, tell me a little, how's it landing for you? What would you want to shift?
I added the second part about mentioning the triumphs and struggles. I think both of those are totally important.
Mm-hmm.
And there's many different areas, activists, climate change activists, men and women that I have worked with or I'm interested in working with. So I'm a little diffused, I think, because I have so many communities or populations that I could work this with, and I think narrowing it down is going to be a challenge for me, but it's perhaps not for this module 1, that issue.
Yeah, no, probably not yet. I mean, this is really just for you to ground in your why. Does the first part land? It's really your work, just so I understand it, is to help create dedicated practice communities, like to help people set them up. Is that the?
I want to set them up and encourage other people to set them up too. In my book, I've celebrated the value of communities like that, almost the requirement for us, for social change, that there be communities for us. So I want other people to be involving themselves in I want to see lots and lots of them, not just ones that I do in relatively small groups.
But just so I know, your course that you're creating will be helping people to do that, correct? Is that right, Andrew? Or what's your online course going to be about?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I first need to really get the methodology and the clarity in how to do it. And I think through writing about this and my book and my other book that's coming out, I want to be encouraging this kind of dedicated support community as a requirement, basically, for us personally or socially to move forward.
Okay, got it.
I'm not really clear on what my role is in that exactly, because my writer role is a bit separate from
your teacher role. Yeah. Then what I'd encourage you for a vision statement is, because I know I've got the book. I haven't read it yet. Evolutionary You, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was going to be where you were going to pull from for your content, is like teaching that work, the we space that's there. So I'm just wondering that as I saw your book land and as I read the introduction and stuff, and as I hear your vision statement, I don't, there's a little bit of a disconnect for me. So I feel like you might have a vision statement that's more about this we space and the evolutionary that you might even start with that, you know, is like, I envision a world where we are all tapped into this we space that, you know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Because I think the dedicated support community is just a functional piece of a much bigger vision that you're holding for the planet.
That's true.
That's
right, Chris. Thanks. That's very helpful, actually. That's true. I think there's the ownership part of that is a challenge. So thank you for that.
Yeah. So I would go back and just go back to your book, read, just get reconnected to that and build a vision statement from that, because I think that's got momentum for you. And then the other pieces might be more practical pieces about the vision that you hold, that you postulate in that book. Yeah.
It's really helpful. Thank you.
Welcome. Cool. Thank you for sharing. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. All right. Anybody else? And then I am saving a little bit of time to talk a bit about Module 2 and give you some context. So there is a little bit more that I want to share, but certainly open. Any questions too? Just doesn't have to be a share now. It's just open space question, vision statement, coaching.
Hey, Chris, I have just a tech question that shouldn't take very long.
Sure.
On Module 1, I did all of the work, but I wasn't able to check some of the boxes. For some reason, it just wouldn't let me check them. Is anybody else having that experience, or is there some issue that you know of?
A few people. What is the box? Because I know one is me having to approve your vision statement.
Now, the one that stands out to me is having the very first one, having visited or watched the videos. I think it's the ones connected to the videos.
They are. Have you watched them, Sabia?
Yeah.
All the way through. Okay. I've asked Jeff, because two other people have said the tutorial video, like them, that they weren't able to. They watched it and it didn't check it off. So thank you. If you guys know the work, it's really, this is kind of like high school level of like check the box. But yes, we're going to figure that out, because I think somehow some of those boxes are not getting automatically checked even when you watch it. Yeah. Okay. The one that I've got to get to is when me just doing an approve on your vision statement. So that's one that might not get checked, and then we'll check the video ones.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Stephen.
Chris, I'm wanting to get into the task of selecting software for hosting, and CRM and affiliate and all that stuff. What's the best time to do that here? As I recall, there was like a private consultation with one of your guys about that.
For if you're in Fast Track.
Oh, if you're in Fast Track. No, I'm not in that.
Right. But I can answer. Is there a question you want? Because in Module 3 and as we head into Module 4, we're going to go much more into the tech stuff. Is that fine? If that's still
I can just go ahead into those modules and read the parts that deal with that. That would be fine.
They're actually not up yet. I'm doing a kind of a drip course campaign. So they're not. If you go in there, you'll just see coming soon. But why don't you ask your question now? It's fine. We've got Spay. It might help others as well. So does it need to be more advice than just a quick?
Well, the starting point is my website is on WordPress. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at the difference between using Access Ally, which I believe is a WordPress plugin, or Teachable, which is not, for hosting content.
Right.
And balancing all the pieces of having an affiliate program and CRM, email software. The whole problem of getting all the pieces I want in the fewest possible moving parts and the least breakdown.
Exactly. Right.
So just wanting to get reflections. Yeah, I can do certainly all that research myself, but why do it again if you guys have already done it and have some good advice?
Yeah, great question, Stephen. I can give you some quick advice, and for all of you here, we'll be going more into this when we get into more of some of the tech stuff a little later as we start talking about setting up your platform. But I would say that you've got some good options here. You're picking, I think, really good options, and you said it well, as Teachable or Thinkific are two platforms where it's all just turnkey. You don't have to do any kind of upload to your WordPress site. Access Ally is fairly easy to use, but you do have to load it on your WordPress site. So it's based off of that. So a lot of flexibility, inexpensive. But as Jeff and I have been talking, we certainly have a recommendation for that, but it's really for people that might have a WordPress person to help them and not just trying to do it on your own. So for you, if you wanted to select of those two and you wanted less sort of headaches, I think Teachable would probably be a better one if it's what you want to learn and manage and you don't necessarily want to have some help or support from a WordPress person or coder. If you really want to have like lots of bells and whistles, like some of the stuff you're seeing here in Launch Academy, Access Ally is better for that and can connect to your backend as well, much better. So the other one that I'd recommend too to house your courses, because I was just talking to somebody, I have Kajabi as well. I had my course last year on it. We moved it over to Access Ally, but I still own Kajabi. And that's they are doing their best to have that be a one-stop shop, Stephen, everything.
Yeah. What's your opinion of them?
Yep, setting up your landing pages, your actual main website page could be in there. All of your checkout carts are in there. Even their email, they're trying to make that more robust where you can have that as your email database inside there. Not nearly as robust as other programs. The thing is, if you want the affiliate management piece, then you have to get the pro version. And the pro version is $300 a month, but then it would be your one-stop shop. You wouldn't have to have anything else. And you use that as your email platform as well. It would be your back end and your front end as one. So that is a possibility. Okay. And if you didn't want to go with affiliates right away, you could get into their basic version, which is just $100 a month. And then, you could do a couple pilot programs, but then the tracking of affiliates is not part of that module.
Or do the affiliate program through Entreport. I assume you're referring to backend as customer relations management, like Entreport or Infusionsoft or something.
Right.
And if you do the affiliates through Entreport and use their sales order forms.
Absolutely. And you would get the basic version then. You definitely wouldn't want to overspend for that. So you'd have Kajabi Basic with Entreport.
Okay.
There's a little bit of overlap there. And what I was trying to say to you though is actually if you went to Pro, you wouldn't have to use Entreport. It would be everything.
Yeah.
No Entreports, no Access, no nothing. It's no MailChimp. It would be Kajabi would be your email, your back end, and your front end all in one place.
Yeah, I actually have to have the minimal version of Entreport, $80 a month, anyway for
something else you're doing.
Something else.
Great.
So I might decide to go to that, especially if I believe you guys give us a discount on that.
Yep, actually on the Pro,
$50 a month.
$147 a month, and it's the Pro version. It's just up to 2,500 contacts. Yeah.
For a year or forever?
Forever.
Yay.
Right.
The only challenge is extra contacts in constant contact.
Rolling through. You don't want to have two systems. You got to have one email system. But yeah, no, the challenge will be if you go over 2,500, then you're up to the next price point. But for a lot of people, that's a great starting point for until they build beyond that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm close to that already, so it won't take long.
Won't take you long. So to be honest, Infusionsoft or Entreport with some other front end is the most flexible, the most robust going forward for the next 2-3 years. I do think that there's Kajabi, because there's a guy, Brendan Bouchard. I don't know if you know him. He's kind of like the new Tony Robbins kind of thing. But Brendan Bouchard is an investor, and he is pushing that company to create the ideal solution. So meaning they're adding features and doing all kinds of stuff. And I think he's continuing to invest in it. And so I'm now watching that saying, oh, wow, they're going to do more and more to make this a competitive product, both on the email side as well as all of the housing of your course. So I would think about Kajabi possibly as a one-stop shop for you, but if it's Entreport, you can use the basic of Kajabi, or you could use Thinkific or Teachable with Entreport. Okay, and there's some ways that they can communicate with each other. So if you like Entreport, your solution could literally be Entreport and Teachable, and you're done.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Cool. All right. So
hi there.
Hi, who's Adam? Yes. Sorry, I was looking at hands here on the. Go ahead, Adam.
The last thing on the checklist: begin inputting names for your team of support and into the dashboard. And the support team thing is one of, if not my main challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've switched over to look at that, I can't get, where did you go? I lost you. Okay, well, I'll continue. So, you know, and I don't have any specific names. I started like looking at, well, what do I need to build my team there?
Mm-hmm.
But that whole team building thing, which we talked about a little bit, you know, when I had my first 15-minute call thing with you, that's a challenge for me. And so how to figure out how to best proportion, you know, the things that I need to do versus what I need to start getting other people to do and where to find them. So, you know, certainly the website and a WordPress person, like you just mentioned, is probably a key piece of that. And at the same time, you know, I don't want to go out and find a web designer because designers make things look good, but know nothing about how to make something functional from a marketing point of view. And I know, you know, and I've done a lot of other, you know, the Jeff Walkers and Brendan Burchard of the world stuff and things like that. So I want that to get reflected on my page as well as to look good. So, you know, but I don't really have a good sense of how to go about finding such a person and building a team from there. So that's where I need my most help is this concept of team building.
Team, yeah. Well, great. It's a great question, Adam, and everybody will be thinking about this over the coming months. So first of all, I just want to take the pressure off you that I'm seeding it now so that throughout the course, throughout even the next 4 months, you're thinking about it and asking around. There's no rush until you're really ready to make that date, you know, okay, I need to get into course launch mode. So I think the first person to actually start with is some kind of assistant. So before even a web designer or anything, it's a virtual assistant, somebody from your community, somebody from your local area. There are some websites that I'll talk with you guys more about when we get into more tactics, like Elance is a great place to actually interview potential VAs. I also have some specific people when we talk about that you could contact about getting as an assistant. But I think it's best to kind of start with your own community and see if you could find somebody who is technically savvy, wants to do sort of project management work, right? And that you're going to hire on an hourly basis. Because that's really more important when you get into some of the technical things or you get busy on other creative stuff, that you need somebody that's able to execute on certain things for you and your campaign.
So can you give me, you know, and I'm familiar with the concept of a virtual assistant, and every time, and I've looked into it a bit, and there's some interesting things out there and some good resources. I just don't have a clear sense of what I want my virtual assistant to do that doesn't involve like a lot of training to understand, you know, better what I do so that they can, I just haven't been able to figure out.
Well, I got the job descriptions for you. I've got job descriptions for you.
Okay.
So we are kind of jumping the gun here. Obviously, the first module is really about my why. The second module is about let's learn about the avatar. So just you could either email me, or when we get to module 3 and 4, some of the documents are going to be, here are the sample job descriptions that you don't have to post it. You just get a sense of, oh, here are the things that Chris is saying that a virtual assistant might do, or a program coordinator. So so I've got that for you.
Okay.
But the key thing I think for everyone is that I know everybody's going to be starting to think about technology, think about assistance. What about my course? So just know I'm guiding you guys through a process. So try not to jump steps too much. Like I would just have you start thinking about possible people. That's kind of what I was asking. Don't worry about kind of finalizing that or whatever. And you're going to get more information as we get beyond the creative and more into the managing of your launch. That makes sense, Adam?
Sure. Yeah. It's just, you know, it's something that I feel like I've needed for 3 or 4 years now and haven't been able to figure out. I can wait another couple of weeks. That's not a problem.
Yeah. And we're going to dive into it more.
Even outside of the context of building this course, it just seems like something that I could really use to free up my time to focus more on content creation and things like that.
Absolutely. So yeah. And we'll talk more about it. I mean, I'm happy to, if you shoot me an email, I can send you some more info about it. just know it's a big point for a teacher to have some kind of support, and we'll talk more about it. We definitely will.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chris,
yeah.
Chris, can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
When you were having your conversation with Stephen, I was busy typing notes, and I missed a block of that conversation. But what I caught was something for $125 a month, or no, $125 period. It was with a mail program as part of that conversation that Stephen was asking about, and he said, "Is that for life?"
Oh yeah, that's one of the, and you guys are going to get a whole tech document. In fact, if you listen to my masterclass, you probably got that as a gift. But the tech document will go through all these programs. We were referring to Entreport.
Entreport, okay.
And it's one of the two 800-pound gorillas for the whole back end. That's Infusionsoft and Entreport. And then Entreport, we have a special deal with them that gets you their pro version, which is normally $300 for $147. But it's up to 2,500 contacts in there. So if you stay under that, it could be for life, but most of you will probably within a year. So you might save all that, save half off for a year. And then all of a sudden you're at 3,000 or 4,000. And then you would go up to the next level.
Get goosed up to the next one. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then Gwen, I'm just looking at my chat. If anybody, I don't quite follow the chat while we're talking, but any other questions that folks have? I think we're just into kind of more general Q&A now, which is great. And then maybe what I'll do, guys, is just so you know, for module 3, because Gwen is asking also, could you send the job description first so I can start thinking about that now? I'll make sure that's in there in module 3, or what would you guys like me to load it up in module 2 right now that's already up? Would that be helpful? Okay, I was trying to keep it, but everybody's hungry for it. So let me I'll load it up. I have a couple of different job descriptions. One is for a more of a program coordinator, and then for future is what I consider more of a program manager. So some of you might actually already have other sides of your business as well as the online side. So I actually have two. One's more of a kind of a lower level, more VA, and the other one's more of a kind of a true program manager partner of helping you grow your business. So it's just kind of down the line.
Chris, I think by having that in the last thing of module 1, that in the items, your checklist of module 1, that kind of set.
Yeah. Okay.
This
great.
Thinking up a little bit.
Great.
So it would be great if you could add that. Thank you.
Job descriptions. Cool. Okay. Great. All right, folks. We've got just a few more minutes, and I just want to make sure we get every question you might be sitting with handled, and see if anything else is coming up. Yes, Stephen.
One other weird software question. I also teach live workshops, and one of the things I've been looking for is a piece of software that will create a heat map of the United States, maybe the whole world, but probably mostly United States. If I feed into it the street addresses, postal addresses of people who have bought my book, because I can download that from Amazon, what I'd love to be able to do is generate a heat map of the nation showing where there are the hottest concentrations of people who bought my book, and that's where I would lean into scheduling live workshops.
Yeah. So are you asking, is there some software program out there?
Do you happen to know anything about that?
Nope.
Okay.
Got nothing
on that. Really off the wall question.
That's good though. I mean, there might be just a Google search around that. I don't know if you've tried that. I don't know of anything in that arena. Yeah,
okay,
but that's a great idea. It's a great idea to see. Now, from Amazon, how are you able to, do they give you their IP addresses? Like, how do you know when you download it? Amazon doesn't usually give you any customer information.
It depends on the kind of account you have.
Okay.
If you have an Author Central account, they don't give you anything.
Mm-hmm.
On Kindle, they don't give you anything. I have a Seller Central account, which is originally the kind of account they designed for people selling soaps and candlesticks and all kinds of other merchandise. And I'm selling my book through that because I get a better deal. but I also get the names and street addresses of all the buyers of my book.
Great.
Which is useful information. Now, they will not give me email addresses.
Right. Got it. No way to communicate with them through the internets.
No, right.
As Brandon would say, internets with an S. It's weird.
Right. But I can harvest all those street addresses and then sort them according to location. And if I'm doing a workshop near there, I can send out postcards through Vistaprint or somebody to everybody in that neighborhood.
Yeah, and if you find that out, if you find something, let me know, because I haven't heard of any software that's not embedded or custom coded or something like that, you know, an off-the-shelf program. So thank you, Stephen.
There's one I found that will do it, but I couldn't figure it out.
You found one that could do it, but you couldn't figure it out?
I did find one that will do it, but I could not. I'm not techie enough to figure out how to load the data and make it work.
Ah, okay. Got it. Cool. Well, any other final questions? Hey, Gary, yeah, you're back.
Just a quick one. When we go to Paris this next week, just learned in the last week that they're going to film the entire conference and our entire class. And it will be a French film company. And what they want to do is put it up online. And we will get access to the film that'll be co-translated in French and English. But I'm wondering, which is a better platform if we have, let's say, the film is Teachable or Kajabi, or either one make any difference?
Well, yeah, you would have to chunk the videos down, right? You would make sure if you'd have to chunk them into 45-minute videos or whatever, so that they're very, you know, they're not like 8 gigabytes, you know, per video.
Exactly.
So yeah, any of those platforms are all based on video now, Gary, meaning they're expecting you in your course to have a video and then have some documents. So whether that's Kajabi or Teachable, they'll all have a way for you to upload your videos into this.
Okay, great. Yeah. So that's right. I hadn't forgot about that. We're going to have to chunk things down too. So we'll need to discuss this with them and see what sort of platform they have in Europe. I'm not sure.
Right. And then do you have a WordPress site? Your main site is that WordPress?
No, it's GoDaddy.
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy does have a WordPress, but I found working just with their regular website builder to be far more simple than trying to go through WordPress.
Because another easy way to do it, whether it's, instead of getting into the platform right now, like if you wanted to just get this up and out to people, is you could just create another page. You can find a way to do a password protected page to then just have those videos and just some text over the different modules.
Yeah, and that's another thing. We need to get some cash flow to keep moving along here.
Right, exactly. So that might be, and then as you move through the course, you'll learn more about, okay, what are we actually creating here? What might we repurpose? Because you may actually have not only the teaching videos that you create for your course now, but you may have some supplemental videos from your live session, right?
Yeah.
So you could actually, as you craft the course, it might be main teaching video and then watch us live doing this thing, right?
Yeah.
So you might mix both. So by you shooting it, the only challenge is that if it's being translated and all that stuff, it may, I don't know if it's going to be viable for teaching to an English audience if it's being translated.
Yeah, it'll be in English and French, so it'll be, you know, presented in Europe where, you know, everybody's multilingual there anyway. So
right.
Unlike the U.S. where people have a hard time speaking English, let alone the other language.
That's good. Well, we could certainly answer more questions when you get back. So just let me know and I can answer any sort of tech questions about this first set of videos, what you want to do with them. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We're at the end of our time, a few minutes over. So thank you very much. It was great to hear your vision statements. I feel really just excited that you guys are diving in such juicy, beautiful, and enlivening vision statements. And thanks for your questions. So we'll stay connected by the websites. Be looking for my tutorial video on your avatar interviews. So this week is really that this next couple weeks is the course development framework, diving into the avatar and starting thinking about who you might interview. Again, that's, as you'll see on my video, you've got, these next 2 modules, so almost a month to complete that. So there's no rush, but just I really want you to interview some people you think are your avatar and then to learn from that as you start fine-tuning your message as we go into the authentic messaging blueprint and then start looking to write your copy for your pages. All right, everyone, be well, and we will see you down the road. All right.